Counterfeit products are costing the global economy billions every single year. But honestly, worse than the financial hit, they destroy consumer trust. It's a massive, systemic issue that impacts everyone, literally from the manufacturer all the way down to you and me buying groceries. Let's dive right into this explainer and unpack a truly fascinating framework that's actively solving this problem. Today, we're looking at APICOM. That's the Auditing and Products Promotion Company and their exact 10-step standard operating procedure for achieving total market trust. If you've ever wondered how top-tier brands seamlessly prove their quality and protect their products in a super crowded, noisy marketplace, well, you are in the right place. We're going to walk through their precise, step-by-step roadmap to absolute brand verification. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of the process itself, we have to ask a really crucial question. How do you actually prove to the world that your product is genuine? Businesses today are constantly fighting to shield their brand value from inconsistencies, false claims, and, most dangerously, counterfeiters. I mean, you can tell consumers your product is high quality, but let's be real. In a world absolutely flooded with knockoffs, words just aren't enough anymore. You need verifiable proof. To understand exactly how APICOM solves this massive industry headache, we're going to walk through their comprehensive certification roadmap. We've broken this down into 6 logical phases: building total trust, initiating the journey, the rigorous audit process, earning badges and protection, official approval and promotion, and finally, maintaining the standard. So, let's start with phase 1, building total trust. The core philosophy driving everything APICOM does is beautifully simple. It's one standard, all products, total trust. The ultimate goal of their entire auditing, certification, and brand protection ecosystem isn't just to, hand out pieces of paper. It is to build a bridge of absolute, unshakable trust between businesses and consumers. Imagine buying a potentially life-saving pharmaceutical versus picking out a new smartphone. The products are vastly different, right? But applying one rigorous, universal standard across the board creates a trusted market where consumers feel entirely safe and brands are unequivocally protected. Which brings us to phase 2, initiating the journey. So how does this formal process actually kick off? Well, it starts with a highly structured initiation. Step 1 is the Client APCOM agreement. The client and APCOM enter into a formal service agreement that clearly defines the scope of the certification, the responsibilities of everyone involved, and the terms of engagement. Crucially, this step establishes strict confidentiality rules. That is vital because brands are handing over their most sensitive operational secrets, and they absolutely need to know their proprietary data is safe. Once that foundation of trust is set, we move right into step 2, application and product information submission. Here, the client submits their formal application alongside all the required business, product, and supporting documentation. It's a really rigorous data gathering phase that sets the stage for everything that follows. Next up is phase 3, the rigorous audit process. This is where all that paperwork builds into the actual on-the-ground evaluation. Once the information is submitted, step 3 is document verification. APICOM painstakingly reviews all submitted documents to verify their completeness, their authenticity, and compliance with applicable requirements. But step 4, this is where things get really fascinating. This is the business and product audit, and it's actually a completely non-destructive audit. Imagine trying to prove a product's quality without ever taking it to a lab. APICOM doesn't use laboratory chemicals, complex apparatus, or testing instruments, none of that. Instead, they conduct a professional audit of the actual business operations, product specifications, labeling, packaging, traceability, and the quality management practices that guarantee quality right at the source. Following this, step 5 is the compliance and risk assessment. They evaluate the entire operation against their certification criteria, explicitly identifying any quality gaps, fraud risks, and opportunities for improvement. That leads us to phase 4, earning badges and protection. So what happens after a successful assessment is completed? All that rigorous auditing leads to a very tangible outcome. Based directly on the audit findings, we arrive at step 6, quality classification. APICOM assigns an appropriate quality class belt badge that accurately represents the verified quality level of the product. Following right on its heels is step 7, consumer protection assignment. Here, APICOM issues the CASA Anti-Counterfeit Consumer Protection sticker. This is a literal game changer for you and me as everyday shoppers. It actively empowers the buyer to recognize and instantly verify genuine products right at the point of purchase, completely removing the guesswork. This whole system creates a really clear visual hierarchy of trust.
The quality class belt badges range from the essential basic class red oxide belt, scaling all the way up through the standard class Tanzanite, the high class diamond, and finally reaching the top tier premium gold belt for the absolute highest level of verified quality. And right alongside those badges is the Kaza anti-counterfeit sticker. By simply scanning the QR code on that sticker, a consumer triggers a literal shield against counterfeits. It instantly verifies the product's authenticity, putting the full weight and power of a professional audit directly into the palms of our hands in just a matter of seconds.
Now for Phase 5, official approval and promotion.
Once the physical protections and badges are assigned, the business moves into the official authorization phase. This is all about broadcasting that verified trust to the wider market. In Step 8, certification approval and issuance, APCOM issues the formal, official paperwork upon successful assessment. This includes the product certification as well as the quality management certificate. But, a certificate just sitting in a filing cabinet somewhere doesn't exactly help drive sales. That's why Step 9 is brand authorization. The certified business is now officially authorized to proudly display their APCOM certificate, their specific quality class belt badge, and that scannable CASA sticker on their approved products and across all their marketing materials. It's a massive strategic shift from internal compliance to external marketing power.
Doing all of this translates into massive tangible market advantages. By completing this rigorous operating procedure, a brand builds deep public trust and inherently increases its market value. They significantly enhance their brand reputation because they aren't just claiming to be good, they are proven to be good. Furthermore, the Kaza sticker actively protects them from counterfeits, directly resulting in a huge competitive advantage. They're fully audited, certified, branded, and protected. It's really the ultimate return on investment.
Finally, we reach Phase 6, maintaining the standard.
As anyone in business knows, achieving quality is really only half the battle. Keeping it is the final, ongoing step. To maintain that hard-earned consumer protection, APCOM implements Step 10, surveillance and certification renewal. Standard degradation over time is a very real threat to any business, which is why this isn't just a one-and-done deal. APCOM performs periodic compliance reviews and renewal assessments. This guarantees that the brand doesn't just hit the high standard on the day of the initial audit, but actively maintains that certification, quality consistency, and consumer protection day in and day out, year after year.
As we wrap up this explainer on APCOM's remarkably thorough 10-step standard operating procedure, I want to leave you with this thought. In a marketplace where a single counterfeit scandal can literally destroy a decade of brand building, is your product actually proven? Or are you just hoping consumers take your word for it? Having a structured, non-destructive, and visually verifiable system isn't just an operational choice anymore. It is a strategic necessity. Trust is the ultimate currency. Thank you so much for exploring this framework with me today, and keep asking the big questions.